Everyone, thank you for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Kelsey Carlson.
And I'm Simone Woolridge. It is election day in Minnesota and across the country. And although there aren't any statewide races, there are still a lot of important elections taking place around Minnesota.
So let's start with following several big municipal races across the state. Polls opening at 7 this morning. They will be closing at 8 o'clock tonight. We have coverage of these races all throughout the evening and tonight when those polls close.
And we have team coverage of some of those races here in the Metro in St. Paul. Rory Glover and Rob Olson are covering the mayoral race. You can see all of our boxes here. Melvin Carter going for a third term, but he's up against several challengers.
And then in Minneapolis, Karen Scullin and So-Young Kim are covering the mayor's race, and Mike Manzoni is following the city council races in Minneapolis. Every seat up for grabs. So let's start with Karen, who is following Mayor Jacob Fry's re-election campaign. Karen?
Well, we are in the St. Anthony, Maine area of Minneapolis, where Mayor Fry and his team will gather and wait for those election results to come in. Of course, it is election day, and this was a hard-fought campaign to the finish line. Mayor Fry, of course, is doing this for a third time. It's a third go at becoming mayor. He is the incumbent in this race. Now, early this morning, actually, Mayor Fry was out at the polls casting a ballot for himself, of course, with his wife and his two kids. After that, he was going to do a little more campaigning and some door knocking, but his campaign spokesman telling me this afternoon that they were cautiously optimistic, and that one of the biggest challenges, though, for him and for the campaign was finding time for the mayor to actually get out and campaign, because he is the incumbent, and it's, you know, he's got city work to do and he's got to run the city. So they did have to carve out a certain amount of time to try to get him out and do door knocking, shaking hands for that all-important vote, which he did, of course, do. The mayor noting that there's some big differences between him and his biggest opponent, that's State Senator Omar Fate, who is a Democratic socialist. There are also socialists on city council who the mayor has clashed with in the past. Here's what he had to say about working with a new council.
I will work in good faith with anyone that will work in good faith with me. And at the same time, I won't abdicate my responsibility to do the right thing for this city, even when it's hard. And whether that's rejecting calls to defund the police, or that's doing important housing reform and pushing back on exclusionary zoning, or that's, you know, preventing Uber and Lyft from leaving the city.
Now, in just a few hours, we're going to be heading inside where, of course, Mayor Fry's team thinks it will turn into a victory party. We'll have to wait and see on that, and possibly wait and see till tomorrow, because, of course, here in Minneapolis, it is ranked choice voting, and the ultimate winner sometimes does not come in until the next day. All right, for now, we're going to toss it to my colleague, So-Young Kim, who is following the mayor's biggest opponent, Senator Omar Fate. So-Young?
Thanks, Karen. And we just heard from State Senator Omar Fate's team that he's still out and about in the city talking to as many voters as he can. And as I just mentioned, he's currently a state senator. He was elected in 2020. He was the first Muslim and Somali American to be elected to the Minnesota Senate. He says he's running for this office, Minneapolis mayor, now because he wants to challenge what he calls the status quo. He's been campaigning a lot around affordability, increasing the minimum wage to $20, rent stabilization, addressing homelessness by having a housing first solution. And when it comes to public safety, and that's been a big discussion topic of public safety and crime here in the city, he says he'll invest in more non-police programs, things like mental health programs and crisis teams. And a big reason why this mayoral race is kind of getting some of that national attention is a lot of people are drawing those comparisons to the Democratic Socialist candidate over in New York, Zohran Mamdani. So we'll see if some of those messages are resonating here in this city, here in Minneapolis, when the polls close in 3 hours and when the results start rolling in. But like I just mentioned, his team just told us minutes ago that he's still out here reaching as many voters as he can. And up next, we have our Mike Manzoni, who's covering the city council races here in Minneapolis for us. Mike?
Hey, so Young, there's a lot here in Minneapolis, the city council race. There are 13 seats up for grabs, all 13, but we're really going to be looking at 6 of them tonight. That's because in 3 of the races, the incumbents decided not to run for re-election. That means that we're going to be seeing new faces on the council either way tonight's contests go. In another 3 of them, wards 2, 7, and 10, they are considered competitive or tougher races. The broader view that we're going to be looking at tonight is the balance of power on the council. We're talking about all Democrats here, no Republicans on the ballot, but it is really a fight between the progressive wing of the party and the more moderates who are generally aligned with Mayor Frey. 2 years ago, the progressive wing took control of the council, and that means that they've been able to generally find 2 more votes. They have 7 votes, but they've generally been able to find 2 more for that 9-vote veto-proof majority, and in some cases that's led to the progressives overturning or overriding the mayor's veto. So we will be looking to see if they are able to keep that majority or if things swing back to the more moderate faction of the party, which would be good news for the mayor should he win a 3rd term. I will send it back to you guys in the studio.
Right, yeah, a lot to keep up with tonight, and we will have all of your election results right here on Fox 9.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, in St. Paul, the mayor's seat is also up for election. Mayor Melvin Carter is running for a 3rd term.
Yeah, another incumbent running for a 3rd term. Our Maury Glover is covering this for us tonight. So, Maury, you had a chance to speak with Mayor Melvin Carter within the last hour or so, right?
That's right. You know, the city of St. Paul faces a number of challenges, from a struggling downtown to drug use and homelessness. And we caught up with Mayor Melvin Carter while he was out door knocking this afternoon to find out what his top priorities would be if he gets a 3rd term.
Well, the conversations we're having with folks today center around really 3 things. 1, gun violence being down 70% in this city. 2, the Trump administration trying to, target us because we've said that our police officers will never be immigration agents. And 3, our focus on building the infrastructure of the future. I fundamentally believe that if our goal is, we have to decide whether our goal is to sort of preserve the city that our parents loved or build the city that our children deserve. And we're having those conversations around there. Translating that forward, that means focusing on our opioid crisis, focusing on the downtown challenges, the generational downtown challenges you mentioned, and absolutely focused on building as much new housing as we can, as fast as we can.
Now, Carter says he is feeling optimistic about his chances to get that 3rd term. Right now, let's go to my colleague, Rob Olson, who is following the campaign for State Representative Kali Herr, who is also running for Carter's seat. Rob?
Yeah, and Maury, we're at Sweeney's Saloon here on Dale Street in St. Paul, the Cathedral Hill area, where Kali Herr's election night party will begin at 8 o'clock tonight, and she is now seen as the primary challenger here against St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter. Now, we'll show you the video earlier this morning where we caught up with her casting her ballot at the public library at Miriam Park. She's only been in this race for a few months, jumping in back in August, and so we talked to her today as she went there to cast her ballot. Then later on, as she was doing some handshaking as well, trying to reach out to voters today about why she did this, why she got into the race. She is currently a state representative. Prior to that, she did work as a policy director for Mayor Melvin Carter, and so you are friends with him. And so we asked her again, are you running against somebody that you worked with? And she said she likes to think of it as running for something for the city, not really against something, but talked about how she wasn't sure that the city was moving quickly enough towards the goals that she sees it needs to have. Here's a bit of our conversation.
You know, I had multiple conversations with Mayor Carter before I even decided to run, and really it was to understand what would be different in a 3rd term. And I shared these particular concerns, and and I thank him for all of the opportunities that, that he's given me in order to be able to work in government. But, that means that when we're from the same family and we love each other and we care about the city, that we tell each other the truth. And not seeing a plan about what a 3rd term would look like to address these specific issues was the reason why I decided to run.
And there's been no polling in this race, so there's no clear numbers here. But again, there's the sense that she is mounting a what could be a competitive challenge here. Certainly with ranked choice voting, and in St. Paul, those ranked choices are tabulated pretty quickly, so we should have an outcome tonight. But they get the feeling, they said they are also cautiously optimistic, something she said she learned from the late Melissa Hortman when she worked with her in the legislature here, where they feel that they could have a serious challenge here to Mayor Melvin Carter. We'll keep you posted, though, all evening long. For now, back to the studio.
Yeah, you can tell the respect is there, though, between her and Mayor Carter, so that dynamic is interesting.
Yeah, she described him as a mentor to her, so it'll be interesting to see. He's never faced ranked choice voting issues because he's had a majority. We'll see what happens tonight.
All right, thank you, Rob. Again, the polls close at 8 o'clock tonight, so we'll have complete election information on our website. Of course, that's fox9.com. There are more than 200 races across the state today, from mayoral races, we just talked about them, to city council races and school referendums. So we'll bring you the very latest information and also some of those results throughout the evening on Fox 9, Fox Local, and also fox9.com.